I should have known something was wrong the moment the sirens washed through my apartment window. Those sharp streaks of red and blue slicing across my living room like a warning flare. But I wasn't looking at the window. I was staring at my phone, at the message that had just detonated inside my chest. "I'm sorry, Ava, I never meant to hurt you. Please don't hate me." No explanation, no name attached. Just that apology pulsing against a suddenly too loud silence. Funny how a single sentence can pull the floor out from under you. My coffee had gone cold. My heart had gone somewhere I didn't recognize. And everything about the last 3 months suddenly felt like a lit fuse racing backward toward the explosion. But before the truth unraveled and rewrote everything I thought I knew about love, loneliness, and the woman who had somehow slipped past every wall I'd ever built, there was the beginning. There was her, or at least the version of her I thought was real. 3 months earlier, on a night when my insomnia felt like a personal betrayal, I did what anxious, overworked people do. Far too often I installed a dating app just to see. My friends said it would help me touch grass socially, which was ironic because I am an interior designer who practically lives inside soft lighting and curated spaces. I wasn't looking for anything serious, definitely not love, just connection, a conversation that didn't feel like a checklist. That's when she appeared. Elena Hart, 28, photographer, traveler, lover of ridiculous playlists and terrible dad jokes. Her pictures were beautiful, almost too beautiful. A girl standing on an empty beach at sunrise. A candid laugh frozen in warm golden light. A pair of green eyes that felt like they'd been trained to find the exact soft spot in your chest. But it was her message that hooked me. If your favorite color isn't sunset orange, I'm afraid we might have to end things before they begin. It was playful, oddly specific, and charmingly confident. I remember staring at that message thinking, please be real, or at least real enough. I replied something equally sarcastic, and somehow it turned into 2 hours of banter, then 2 days, then a week of voice notes, late-night check-ins, shared playlists, and confessions no sane person should tell someone they've never met. She made me feel seen. She made me feel chosen. She made me feel like the world was less cold than I'd grown used to believing. But she never called, never FaceTimed, never sent anything spontaneous. Everything, absolutely everything, was controlled, curated, almost symmetrical. I should have noticed. I should have asked harder questions. But when you're craving connection, red flags look a lot like vulnerability. It was a Tuesday evening when the first real crack appeared. I was at my desk in the design studio, drowning in client revisions and too much caffeine, when my coworker Riley leaned against my chair. Riley was the kind of woman who walked into a room and shifted its gravity, sharp wit, sharp eyeliner, sharp everything. We'd been friends for 4 years, lived in the same apartment building, and yet somehow always danced around an invisible line I didn't know how to cross. "You're smiling at your phone again," she teased, raising one dark eyebrow. "That's either a good sign or a very dangerous one." I flushed. "It's someone I'm talking to." "Someone?" Riley smirked. "As in cute someone? Or you're about to make terrible decisions someone?" "Possibly both." She laughed, and it was warm enough to melt something in me I refused to name. "What's her name?" "Elena." Riley leaned closer, reading the messages over my shoulder, not enough to invade, just enough to sense the energy. "Huh," she murmured. "She writes like she thinks in poetry." "She kind of does." "Have you met her yet?" The question hit like a stone dropped into deep water. "Not yet," I answered. "She travels a lot for work." Riley tapped her fingers on my desk. "Just be careful, okay? I don't want you falling for someone who's giving you curated pieces instead of a whole person." The way she said falling made my stomach flip. I pushed the feeling away. "Riley, I promise I'm not falling." But she gave me a look that said she didn't believe a word of it. On Thursday night, Elena finally asked to meet, or at least she almost did. "Ava, I think it's time we see each other in person. I want to, more than you know." My breath caught, then another message. "But something came up. I'm so sorry. A family emergency. Can we try next week?" I stared at the screen, disappointment washing over me in slow waves. Riley's voice, "Be careful," echoed in my mind, but I silenced it. "It's okay," I typed back. "Next week works." Elena sent a voice note, then her tone soft, apologetic, almost trembling. "I promise I'm not running," she said. I need to figure a few things out." "Like what?" I asked. Silence, followed by a single message. You'll understand soon. A strange chill dusted down my spine, but I ignored that too, because hope when it's been starving will swallow anything you feed it. The next week came. She canceled again, then again, then again. Each excuse believable, each apology sincere, each delay wrapped in careful emotion that made it feel like she truly meant it. And I held on, because of the moments between the excuses. The voice notes where she said my name like it was fragile. The midnight messages where she told me she couldn't sleep unless she knew I was okay. The way she described loneliness like it was a place she'd escaped and was terrified of returning to. I felt close to her, closer than I had any right to feel. But the truth was, I didn't even know if her name was really Elena. Then came the night everything shifted. It was late. I'd just returned from a client meeting that had left me drained, frustrated, and desperately craving silence. But the moment I stepped into my apartment, my phone buzzed with 3 messages in rapid succession from Elena. Ava, I need to tell you something. I'm scared you'll hate me. Are you alone? My heart thudded. I typed yes, what's going on? Her typing bubbles appeared, disappeared, reappeared. Then, I haven't been honest with you. A cold heaviness settled in my chest. I waited, 10 seconds, 20, 45. Finally a photo came through. A blurry image of a dimly lit room. A desk, a laptop. Nothing identifiable. Then a message. I'm not who you think I am. My throat tightened. A name, I typed. A face? Anything? She didn't answer with any of those. Instead, she sent a final message that felt like a trapdoor opening beneath everything I'd built with her. Ava, the truth is, we've met before. I froze, my pulse thrummed in my ears. Met before? Where? When? How? I typed faster than I could breathe. Where have we met? Who are you really? Her reply came slowly, like every word weighed 10 pounds. I'll tell you tomorrow, in person, I swear. Why tomorrow? Why not now? Because, she said, I need to see your eyes when I say it. The air in my apartment seemed to thin out, like the walls were listening. I stared at the message for so long the screen dimmed. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Everything would break open. Tomorrow I'd meet the woman I'd fallen for without ever truly knowing she existed. But fate, messy, cruel, strangely poetic fate, didn't wait until tomorrow. It began unspooling that same night. I couldn't sleep, not with my mind chewing on questions like wildfire. I paced my living room. I stared at the ceiling. I replayed 3 months of messages, looking for the glitch I should have seen earlier. That was when I noticed something small, insignificant, ridiculously easy to miss. In one of Elena's photos, the beach one, I recognized a lighthouse. Not just any lighthouse. Willow Cove Lighthouse. 20 minutes from my apartment. I'd been there dozens of times growing up. My stomach dropped. How had she taken that picture? Why hadn't she ever mentioned living near me? Why did every detail suddenly feel like a threat and a love letter at the same time? Right then, my phone buzzed again. One more message, not from Elena, from an unknown number. Ava, please don't look for me. I'll explain everything tomorrow. Just trust me one more night. My blood went cold. She knew I'd figured something out. She knew what photo I'd been staring at. She knew me well enough to predict my next move, and that terrified me in a way I couldn't name. I didn't respond. Instead, I shut off my phone and sat on my bed in the dark, holding my breath like it was the only thing keeping my ribs from cracking open. Outside, the sirens continued. Red, blue, silence, red, blue, silence. A rhythm that felt eerily like a countdown. I didn't know yet that the truth was already walking toward me, closer than I'd ever imagined, closer than I was ready to believe. I didn't know that the woman who had catfished me was someone whose voice I'd heard before. Someone whose presence had shaped my life in ways I didn't yet understand. Someone who was about to shatter me and save me in the same breath. And the moment I found out who she really was, everything, my friendships, my trust, my heart would fall into a completely different light. But that revelation was waiting. Just on the other side of midnight, I didn't sleep, not even for a moment. By the time the sun rose, a soft, washed-out gray that looked more like a bruise than morning, I was sitting at my kitchen table, elbows propped against wood worn smooth from years of restless thinking. My phone lay in front of me like a detonator. I hadn't turned it back on yet, not because I didn't want answers, but because I was terrified of them. A single truth pulsed in the air like static. The woman I had fallen for wasn't real, but someone was. Someone close, someone watching, someone who already knew me well enough to predict my fears. At 7:02 a.m., a knock sounded at my door, soft, hesitant. Too early for normal people, too late for emergencies. My spine straightened. My hands went numb. No one knocked on my door without texting first. No one except. "Ava?" came a voice through the wood. "It's me, Riley." My breath whooshed out too fast. Relief collided with dread so violently it almost made me dizzy. I opened the door and there she stood. Hair pulled into a loose bun, hoodie half-zipped, eyes. Still sleepy but alert in that way, Riley always was around me. Almost protective. Almost something more. "You're awake," she said softly, stepping inside. "I figured you would be. You left your living room light on all night." Her apartment was 1 floor below mine. Of course she'd notice. "Couldn't sleep," I murmured. She looked at me carefully like she was piecing together a puzzle I hadn't given her permission to solve. "You okay?" she asked. It was such an innocent question, too innocent for the whirlwind inside me. I swallowed. "I got some strange messages last night." Her expression shifted, subtle but real. A flicker of tension, so quick I might have imagined it. "From Elena?" she asked. The name felt heavier this morning. I nodded. "What happened?" She pressed gently. I opened my mouth to answer, but the words tangled. How was I supposed to explain the surreal panic of discovering the lighthouse? The unknown number knowing exactly what photo I'd been staring at? The message that felt like someone's breath on the back of my neck? Instead, I whispered, "She said she needs to tell me something in person today, something big." Riley's jaw tightened. Her fingers curled at her sides, like she was holding on to something. "Ava, that doesn't sound okay." "I know," my voice cracked. "I know." She stepped closer, her tone softening. "Hey, look at me." I did. Riley had this way of grounding me, being the only steady thing in a room that kept spinning. "You don't have to meet her alone," she said. "If you want, I can come with you, or wait nearby, or..." But before she could finish, my phone lit up. I hadn't even realized I'd turned it on. A notification appeared at the top of the screen. New message from unknown. Riley's gaze flicked to the phone, then to me. I tapped the message open with trembling fingers. "Meet me at Willow Cove Lighthouse, 5 p.m. I'll tell you everything." Attached was a single image. My breath hitched. It was a picture of the lighthouse framed in sunset light. But this one wasn't pulled from a feed or travel photo. No, this one was taken this morning. Fog still curled around the rocks. The sky was the exact gray-blue outside my window. She was here, near me, close enough to take this photo, in real time. Riley leaned in, confusion deepening. "Why does she want to meet there?" "I don't know," I whispered. I didn't tell her the worst part, the part that twisted my stomach tight. I recognized the angle of the photo. It was taken from the cliff path you only knew if you grew up around here. Not tourists. Not strangers. Locals. Which meant Elena, or whoever she really was, wasn't just close. She'd been near me for a long time. The rest of the day moved strangely, like time had been dipped in honey. Every clock tick felt stretched. Every sound seemed louder. By noon, I couldn't sit still. By 2, I'd walked half a mile around my neighborhood, without realizing it. By 3, Riley showed up again. Worried enough to skip work. "You're pale," she said. "And you're shaking." "I'm fine," I lied. "You're not fine," she insisted, her voice suddenly fierce. "Ava, this girl has been messing with your emotions for months. You don't even know who she is. What if she isn't safe?" Her fear was valid, logical, but my fear wasn't. Mine was emotional, terrifyingly so. What if the person behind Elena's messages was someone I had trusted, someone I had let close, someone whose connection with me wasn't new but forgotten? The idea rooted itself in me, dark and heavy. Riley noticed my distant stare. "Talk to me," she pleaded. "What's going through your head?" I sank onto my couch, fingers gripping the cushion. I need to know the truth," I said. "I can't keep guessing. I can't keep wondering if all the feelings I had were real or manipulated." Riley's breath caught at the word feelings just for a moment. "What feelings?" she asked softly. I looked away. "It doesn't matter now." She stepped closer, so close her knee brushed mine. "It matters to me." There it was, that unfamiliar ache in her voice. Something fragile and urgent all at once. But before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. Another unknown message. "Come alone." Riley saw it. Her eyes hardened. "No," she said. "Absolutely not. I'm going with you." "You can't," I murmured. "She said alone." "I don't care what she said. I care about you." The way she said it, not angry, not forceful, just honest, hit something deep in me, something I'd been avoiding. I met her eyes. For a moment, the apartment felt too small for the tension between us. Then I whispered, "Just wait nearby. Please." Riley hesitated. "Ava, please." She exhaled shakily and finally nodded. "Okay, but I'm not letting you out of my sight." I didn't know then how true that statement already was. By the time we reached Willow Cove Lighthouse, the sky had shifted into that dramatic late-afternoon palette, deep blue shadows, streaks of orange glowing across the water like someone had spilled liquid fire. The lighthouse stood tall, lonely, familiar. I stepped out of Riley's car, my heart punching at my ribs. Riley opened her door too, but I shook my head. "Wait here," I told her. "Stay close, but let me walk the rest alone." She looked like she hated the idea, truly hated it, but she nodded, jaw tight, eyes dark with worry. "If anything feels wrong," she said, "you call my name. I don't care where you are. I'll be there in seconds." Her voice trembled. "Just barely." I turned toward the path. Fog drifted low along the rocks. The air tasted like salt and anticipation. My phone buzzed again. "I'm on the north side of the cliff. Walk toward the railing." My steps were slow, careful. The wind tugged at my hair, cold enough to sting. I reached the railing overlooking the vast spread of ocean. Gulls circled overhead like restless thoughts. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Soft. Familiar somehow. I turned. A figure stood several yards away. Hoodie pulled tight, shoulders tense, breath uneven. Then she lifted her head, and my world cracked open. "Riley?" I whispered. She froze, caught between guilt and inevitability, like she'd been preparing for this moment and dreading it in equal measure. My heart slammed so hard it hurt. Why are you here?" I asked. "I told you to wait in the car." But she didn't step closer. She didn't speak at all. Her expression, fear, longing, regret, told a story my mind refused to process. "No," I whispered, the truth slithering into my chest like ice. "No. Tell me you're not." Her lips trembled. "Ava," she said quietly, "I'm sorry." Every atom in my body went still. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I stumbled back a step. "Riley, what did you do?" The wind carried her answer like something fragile and unbearable. "I'm Elena." The world tilted. The air disappeared. The ground felt unreal. "No," I breathed. "No, Riley, no, you wouldn't, you couldn't. I didn't start it to hurt you," she said, voice breaking. "I swear, I never planned to fall in love with you like this." Love, the word detonated inside me. My vision blurred. My heartbeat roared. I felt every emotion at once: anger, betrayal, heartbreak, confusion. Something that felt horribly like longing. "You catfished me?" I choked out. "For months?" "Yes," she whispered, "and every day I hated myself for it." "Why? Why would you do something like that to me?" Riley's eyes shone with tears she kept forcing back. "Because I was scared," she admitted. "Because I didn't know how to tell you how I felt in real life. Because I thought if I tried as myself, you'd never look at me the way I look at you." My chest constricted. The lighthouse hummed in the wind. The ocean crashed far below. And Riley, my friend, my constant, my anchor, stood before me, unraveling every truth I thought I understood. "Ava," she whispered, stepping forward, voice trembling. "I never meant to deceive you. I didn't know how else to be brave." The pain in her voice was real. The betrayal in my chest was real too, and somewhere tangled beneath both, something else pulsed wildly, refusing to be ignored, something that terrified me more than the lies ever could. Because when she said she fell in love with me, some buried part of me realized. I wasn't shocked by the confession. Not really. Not the way I should have been, before I could make sense of any of it. Riley took another step toward me, and I didn't move away. Not yet. Not when everything I'd ever known was shattering, exactly where the waves met the cliff beneath our feet. For a long moment, neither of us moved. The wind pressed against my back, the ocean roared below, and Riley stood in front of me, looking like she expected the world to split open between us. Her shoulders were tense, her breath shaky, her eyes trained on me like she was memorizing every detail. Before I turned and walked away forever. And I didn't know what to do with the storm inside me. "Say something," she whispered, "please." But the only sound that left me was a single trembling breath. "Why didn't you just talk to me?" I finally managed, my voice thin. "Why didn't you just be honest?" Riley closed her eyes, and when she spoke, her words felt like they'd been scraped out of her. "Because you've always been gentle with everyone, except yourself. Because you give people warmth you don't even believe you deserve. And because whenever I tried to tell you how I felt, You looked at me like I was saying something impossible. Her voice cracked. You make me nervous, she said quietly. You always have. My throat tightened. Riley, confident, sharp-tongued, unshakable Riley, nervous because of me. It didn't make sense. None of this did. You should have told me, I whispered. I know. Her voice wavered. I know I should have. I didn't know how to cross that line with you, not without losing you. So I created someone I thought you could love. My breath caught. And what about the feelings you made me develop for Elena? Did you ever think about what that would do to me? Her expression shattered. I did, she whispered. Every single day. I shook my head, stepping back from her. I needed space, air, something that didn't feel like drowning. Riley, you lied to me. You let me open up to someone who didn't even exist. She flinched like I'd struck her. I know, she said again. And if I could take it back, I would. All of it. The messages, the fake pictures, the excuses. I didn't mean to trap you in something false. I was trying to protect something real. A wind gust hit hard, tugging at my clothes as if urging me to move, to run, to flee from the overwhelming chaos she had unleashed. I don't understand, I whispered. What was real? Her eyes softened, aching, vulnerable, impossibly sincere. Everything I said to you, she murmured. Every confession, every late-night message, every moment I stayed up waiting to hear from you. The way you made me laugh. The way you made me feel seen. The way my heart reacted every time your name popped up on my screen. She took another slow step toward me, like she was giving me time to stop her time I didn't use. The voice notes, she added. Those were mine. All of them. My breath faltered. And the playlists? The stories? The stupid jokes? I forced out, she nodded. All me. Something hot and confusing pulsed in my chest. But the pictures? I asked. Riley inhaled shakily. A real person, just not me. Someone I paid to use their portfolio. I didn't want to use my own photos. I didn't want you to know it was me. A sting of betrayal washed through me again. It wasn't just lies. It was deception built piece by piece, emotion by emotion, until it wrapped around me like a net I never saw. You should have trusted me, I whispered. You're right. Her voice broke. And that's the part I can't forgive myself for. For a moment, neither of us looked away. Her eyes were drowning in apology, and mine were burning with hurt I couldn't hide. I hugged my arms around myself. I need time. She closed her eyes briefly, just 1 second, but enough for her entire body to sag like she'd been holding herself impossibly upright. I'll give you all the time you need, she murmured. Before I could respond, a sound echoed behind us, gravel shifting. I spun around sharply. A man stood near the cliff path, phone raised like he'd been recording us. My stomach dropped. Riley tensed like a wire ready to snap. Hey, she shouted. Stop. The man fled down the path, disappearing behind sharp twists of rock. What was that? I breathed, adrenaline spiking suddenly. Riley's jaw clenched. I don't know, but he was watching us. I swallowed hard. Why? I have no idea, she said, though something flickered in her expression. Not fear exactly, something sharper. But before I could ask, she shook her head, redirecting her focus back to me. We should go, she said gently. This place doesn't feel safe anymore. I nodded numbly. Riley walked beside me down the cliff path, keeping close without touching me, giving me space but never straying more than an arm's reach away. The silence between us was suffocating, thick with everything said and unsaid. When we reached the parking area, she stopped and turned to me again. Ava, I know today was too much. I know I've lost your trust. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not even asking you to talk to me. Her voice grew softer, so soft I felt it more than heard it. I'm just asking you not to disappear. I swallowed hard. I don't want to disappear, I whispered. I just don't know how to feel right now. Then feel everything, she murmured. All of it. The anger, the hurt, the confusion. You deserve to. And I'll take whatever comes. Her sincerity hurt worse than the lie ever could have. Riley, my voice trembled. This isn't just about you hiding your feelings. You created an entire identity. You made me fall for someone who didn't exist. She nodded, pain flickering across her face. But the person behind the screen existed, the feelings existed, the connection existed. I'm just asking for the chance to prove it wasn't all a lie. I looked away, confusion clawing at me. How could the truth feel like betrayal and clarity at the same time? We stood there, suspended in something fragile, something neither of us knew how to touch. Finally, I stepped back. I need to go home. Riley nodded once, slowly, like she was bracing herself for impact. I'll drive behind you, she said, just to make sure you get home safely. After that, I'll give you space. I wanted to protest, but something in her voice, the quiet protectiveness I'd known for years, stopped me. "Okay," I whispered. The drive home blurred by, my emotions swirling faster than the road beneath me. The moment I stepped into my apartment, my knees nearly buckled. Everything felt altered. My memories of every message from Elena, every moment I'd felt seen, every confession I'd typed at 2 a.m. All of them now had Riley's voice behind them. Riley, the girl who brought me coffee without asking, who walked me home after late work nights, who sat with me on the roof during power outages, who laughed at my stupid jokes, who watched me like she was memorizing something she wasn't allowed to keep. I leaned against the wall, breath shaking. What was real? What wasn't? Who was Riley to me now? Before I could catch my breath, there was a soft knock, not frantic, not demanding, just gentle. I opened the door expecting her, but no one was there. Just an envelope on the floor, my name on the front, handwritten. My pulse quickened as I picked it up. Inside was a single torn photograph, a girl standing near the lighthouse. Not Riley, not the woman from the fake photos, someone else entirely, and scrawled on the back in messy, hurried ink, "She's lying and you're not safe." My stomach lurched. This wasn't from Riley, this was from someone else, someone who knew her, someone who was watching us. And suddenly, the catfishing was no longer the strangest or most dangerous secret in my life. Riley wasn't the only one hiding something, and I wasn't sure I wanted to know what came next. I stood frozen in my doorway, the torn photograph trembling between my fingers. The threat, no, the warning blurred slightly as my pulse pounded in my ears. "She's lying, and you're not safe." The apartment felt suddenly too quiet, too hollow, like something unseen hovered just outside the glow of the hallway lights. My first instinct was to call Riley. My second was to run. I didn't do either. Instead, I shut the door softly but locked it with shaking hands. Then I paced the kitchen like a trapped animal, replaying the message in my mind until every word warped into suggestion and fear. Who was lying? About what? And what danger was I suddenly in? A knock shattered the silence. I jumped so hard the photograph slipped from my fingers. Another knock, this one urgent. "Ava?" Riley's voice called from the hall, low but tense. "Please let me in." For a split second I hesitated. Her voice, soft, familiar, comforting, now carried a shadow I didn't know how to interpret. I unlocked the door. Riley stepped inside immediately, scanning the hallway behind her before shutting the door hard. "Are you okay?" she asked, breath uneven. I swallowed. "Did you follow me upstairs?" "No," she said, frowning. "I left after you went inside. I meant it when I said I'd give you space." I believed her, or I wanted to. She studied me more closely and something sharpened in her expression. "What happened? You look like you saw something." "I didn't see someone," I murmured, picking the photograph off the floor. "But someone left this." She reached F, or it, then froze as her eyes landed on the image. Her jaw tightened. "What is this?" "I was hoping you could tell me," I said, my voice barely steady. She took the torn photograph carefully, like she was afraid of breaking it more than it already was. Her brows furrowed. "I don't recognize her," she murmured. "You sure?" I asked. Her gaze lifted to mine, hurt flickering there. "Ava, I wouldn't lie about something like this." The statement sank heavy into the space between us because she had lied. Not about this, but about everything else. I hated that it made me falter now, even when she spoke earnestly. I turned the photograph over, the words stared back at both of us. "She's lying. And you're not safe." Riley read it silently, and I watched a dozen emotions collide across her face: fear, anger, disbelief, and something unexpectedly protective. "Ava," she said slowly, "someone is messing with you. With us. This isn't from me, and it isn't connected to the catfishing. I swear." "How can you be sure?" I whispered. "Because I never involved anyone else. I never told a soul about Elena, and I definitely never brought anyone to the lighthouse." Her conviction shook something loose in me, but fear, thick and cold, coiled tighter in my chest. "Then who is she?" I whispered, nodding toward the girl in the photo. "And why is someone watching us?" Riley stepped closer, arms folded like she was physically restraining the urge to reach for me. "I don't know," she said, "but we need to figure it out." I sank onto the couch, the adrenaline slowly draining until only exhaustion remained. Riley stayed standing for a moment like she was waiting for permission to come closer. I didn't look up, but I whispered, "Sit." She did, carefully, leaving space between us, but close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from her body. The silence hung thick. Finally, I murmured, "I don't know what to do with all of this." "I know," she said softly, "and you don't have to solve it tonight. Not alone." The trust in her voice, gentle, selfless, felt like a fragile balm over a deep bruise. I hated that I still responded to it. I hated that part of me wanted to lean into her just to breathe easier. "Riley," I began, but she shook her head. "You don't owe me anything right now. Not forgiveness, not explanations. I'm just here because I care about you, and because something about this." She held up the photo is wrong. Her protective urgency wasn't new. She'd always been like this, with me. But now, knowing everything she'd hidden, it felt different. More intimate, more complicated, more dangerous. "What do you think it means?" I asked. Riley exhaled slowly. "If someone is warning you that you're not safe, it could mean someone's been watching you for a while." A chill slid down my spine. "And lying?" I whispered. "Lying about what?" She hesitated. "It might not even be about me. You've been talking to someone who wasn't real for 3 months. It makes you vulnerable to people who—" "Stop." My voice cracked. "Don't blame this on me." She flinched. "I'm not. I'm blaming myself." Her words cut deeper than blame ever could. She pressed 2 fingers to her temple, thinking hard. "Ava, we should show this to someone, maybe." "No police," I said quickly. She looked at me startled. "Why not?" "Because I don't want to explain the whole thing," I whispered. "Not yet. Not when everything still feels raw. And maybe because, deep down, I didn't want outsiders pulling this apart before I even understood what was real." Riley nodded slowly. "Okay. Then we watch carefully, stay alert, and tomorrow, when you're ready, we figure out who she is." But she wasn't talking about the girl in the photograph. She was talking about herself. Her guilt sat between us like a third presence in the room. "I don't want anything bad to happen to you," she said quietly. "And I don't want to get hurt again," I replied. She bowed her head slightly as though the words were a blow she knew she deserved. But after a moment, she said something that surprised me. "I'll go if you want. I don't want to make things harder for you." Her voice was soft in a way I'd never heard from her before. That gentleness, that willingness to step away. It did something to me. "Don't go," I said before I could stop myself. Riley's head lifted. Her eyes widened with something that almost looked like relief. "Okay," she whispered. We sat there in silence, the tension between us shifting less sharp, but no less heavy. Finally I asked, "Why did you come here tonight, really?" She hesitated, then she told the truth. "Because I was worried about you," she murmured. "And because I knew you'd be hurting after everything I said on the cliff. I couldn't just leave you alone with all of that." I swallowed hard. "You should have thought about that before you started all of this." "I know," she said, "and I'll regret it for a long time." Riley looked at me with an expression that was terrifying in its sincerity, like she was unspooling every defense she had left. "But I meant what I said, Ava, about the feelings." Her voice softened even more. "They were real, they were always real." The room tilted slightly, not physically, but emotionally, like something deep inside me shifted its weight. I opened my mouth to say something, but a sudden buzz cut through the air. My phone. A new message from the unknown number. My stomach dropped. Riley leaned in closer, tense. I opened the message. There was no text, just a single image, taken from outside my building. My window, taken tonight. My breath caught. "Riley." She was already on her feet, every part of her going alert and protective. "Lock your door. Turn off the lights. Is someone?" "I don't know," she said, "but they're close." A shadow moved across the window, shade a passing blur, fast and silent. Fear coiled inside me like a fist. Riley moved to the window, slow, controlled. She lifted just the edge of the shade and peered out. Her voice lowered to a whisper. "Someone standing near your car." "Who? I can't see their face." The world narrowed to a single point. This wasn't about jealousy or catfishing or hidden feelings. This was something else, something darker. Someone wasn't lying to me emotionally. Someone was lying about something real. Riley stepped back from the window and turned to me with a look I'd seen only once years ago, when a stranger followed us out of a concert venue. The look she wore when she was ready to protect me at all costs. "Ava," she whispered, "you're not staying here tonight." "Where am I going?" "With me." I opened my mouth to protest, but the truth was clear. I didn't feel safe. Not alone, not here. Riley held out her hand, not demanding, not pleading, just offering. I stared at it, at everything it meant, at everything we had broken and everything we hadn't yet begun. Then, slowly, I placed my hand in hers. Her fingers closed around mine, warm, steady, grounding. As she led me out of the apartment, out of the building, out of the fear, I realized something terrifying and undeniable. All this time, I thought the biggest danger in my life was falling for the woman who catfished me, but the real danger was how much I still wanted her close, and how deeply my heart had begun to move in her direction, even before I ever knew her name. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing for more cinematic narratives.